If you feel like you still need to wear a mask, whether it's for yourself or to protect your family, that's fine. We're not going to say anything about it. You can definitely do that. But if you feel like you are okay with not wearing a mask, that's okay as well. As we continue forward, today I wanted to focus on it's kind of like a second part of last week's sermon. And last week's sermon was about how God's very nature is to love us, His unconditional love for us, and how no matter what we do, God will love us. God's love for us is not based upon our performance. It's not based on our behavior. God is still going to love us. And we can even fail at loving God, and God will still be there to love us. And this is kind of a follow-up to that, in that sometimes we hear about God's love, but we don't hear the other part, about God's wrath. And we need to understand that. And so today we're going to try, it's kind of a challenging thing where we're trying to put together the understanding of God's love and God's wrath. And so today I want to start off with a couple of stories. One is from when I was a young boy, and even in my youth. I think that the sermons and the Bible studies that affected me the most were the ones that scared me. The ones that said were about God's anger and God's wrath and how much He hated sin, and how because God hated sin, I should not sin. And if I were to sin, I would have to face God's wrath and judgment. And as a young boy, and I remember thinking, man, it's hard enough dealing with my mom's wrath, not lying, and I was trying to hide things from her. She knew, and as soon as she knew, that stick came out, and I felt her wrath. But to think that the God of heaven, the omniscient, the omnipotent, and the omnipresent God would get mad at me, and that I would face His wrath, was a scary thing. Second story